This going here. Good morning. Apologies for being a little bit behind schedule. I had to relocate my position here. I just realized there was too much light coming in from outside, and that was not working. So I decided to get set up out here, and hope you're all hearing me well. And we're going to get things rolling in just a minute. And let's see here. Oh, Tommy Chapa, good to see you, buddy. Michael, Sacramento, good to see you. Patty, it's just like we were just together just a minute ago. And welcome to new distributor training for Saturday morning. This is a special edition from an island edition from my island office. And good to have you all here. Let's see. I was going to try and set this up where you could see what I see, but there was too much light coming from the background, so that wasn't going to work. And very early here this morning. But as you can see, just for you guys.
This is quiet time also, sir.
Oh, sorry to bother you. Well, I guess I am going to relocate and bother. Hang on. You guys get to see everything. Let's see what we get there. Isn't that gorgeous? Well, I had some neighbors move in downstairs late last night. I guess their banging around last night was okay for me to hear, but they don't want to hear Saturday morning training, huh? All right, so you can see the problem I was having with the background light. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. How's that? Okay, and forgive me, I left my Zeege over there. So I guess this answers the question, is this live or recorded, huh? And for those of you that this is your first Saturday morning training, they're not always this good. All right. Hey, good to see you folks. Glad you're joining us here for Saturday morning training. This is always one of my favorite parts of my Zeege activities, is getting to share a little bit of information. And I'll get set up here real quick. Watch how fast I relocate. All right, shall we try that again and get going here? Can you imagine? My neighbors didn't like wanting to hear Saturday morning training. Can you imagine? All right. There we go. All right, so from the top. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday morning new distributor training, special island edition for today. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zeege. This is an event that we do every Saturday morning, our new distributor training, especially as, oh, I can see the room starting to fill up pretty good here. Want to welcome all of you. Some of you are brand new distributors. Maybe this is your first opportunity to be part of a new distributor training. Some of you might even actually not be involved yet. That's not uncommon, that somebody will want to take a look at what we're doing, look at the training resources, you know, what kind of support are you going to get, and that sort of thing. And so warm welcome to all of you. I'm going to be going through a lot of information today. I encourage you to grab your journal. Okay, get your journal. If you're just new to this profession, this is something you're going to want to do on a regular basis. Get a journal, get a, you know, one of those spiral bound notebooks. Get something where you can start to archive the information, the exposures that you're getting. 80% of this, well, let me change that. 20% of success in our type of business is what we do and how we do it. 80% of the success in our business is who we are and who we will become. And that's exciting because for most people, it's the other way around. You know, if you're gonna be a brain surgeon, 80% of being a brain surgeon is, you know, decades of going to school and hundreds of thousands of dollars of cost for your education and what have you. In our business, what we do is relatively simple. Okay, who we are or who we will become is what in most cases defines 80% of the difference. And so, and the longer that you're involved, the more you're going to recognize what it is we have. What I want to do this morning, a couple of things. First of all, let's set the stage. Okay, some of you have just gotten started. I like to keep things real simple. First step is to get in. Okay, second step is to get trained. Third step is to get going. And if you do it just like that, you're on the path that you need to be to accomplish your goals. Well over 30 years ago, I was a cross-country truck driver. I'd been doing that for a number of years, loved that work. But then my world changed as my older son was entering school age, and I found myself in a position where I needed to make, significantly greater income than a truck driver can make. And I needed to have more time freedom, more flexibility in my day-to-day work to be able to spend with my son if I was going to fulfill on the promise of helping my son become everything that he could become. And the only place that I was able to accomplish both, create a significantly above average income and have time freedom, flexibility in my day-to-day schedule, was through this vehicle of network marketing. And I was very fortunate in my very first company to be exposed to some of the finest training that's ever existed. And that's kind of grown to today what, Saturday morning new distributor training is. And what I want you to encourage you to do is to get some of that foundational information. Rather than doing the same training every single Saturday morning, what we've done is we've created an environment where you can easily get online the new distributor training, Saturday morning new distributor training, using this time frame each Saturday. Myself, other people that will be doing the trainings as well with me, getting a little bit of refinement, getting a little bit more focus, moving to a little bit higher level, so that it's an ongoing process. So if you've got your pen handy, I want you to write this down. You can view the recording of the new distributor training that I produced. It's probably been a year ago, maybe whatever, year and a half ago. It's exactly what I was taught 33 years ago when I attended my very first Saturday morning new distributor training. That's why it's called Saturday morning, because it's, what happened back then. My very first week in my first network marketing business, I spent a Saturday morning learning what it is we do and how we do it. And that little training has been the foundation of my first career in network marketing. I literally retired in 10 years. And then a number of years later, came out of retirement for the ZJ opportunity and put 3 years into this and was able to go into retirement again. And it's that simple little process, a 30-minute training, that taught me exactly what it is we do and how we do it. And I hope that I'm encouraging you, I'm really selling this hard, that you'll take the 30 minutes to look at that video. Go to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes ZJ. Fred Holmes ZJ, HOLMES. Click on playlist. That YouTube channel, you're going to see a lot of, all of the broadcasts, the presentations, the trainings and stuff that we're doing. That's where those recordings are. But you will see on that YouTube channel a link that says playlist. There's only one playlist there. Click on the link. You'll see the playlist. It's new distributor training. The first video is that 30 minutes, specifically what it is we do and how we do it. Take 30 minutes. Review that. Frankly, if you understand that 30 minutes, you're really going to have more, in terms of your knowledge and understanding of network marketing than probably 80% of the people that ever try to be in network marketing. There will be 3 additional little videos. They're about 10 minutes each on the average in that playlist, so total of 4. And those 3 little videos, how to develop your prospect list, how to create your story, your Zija story, a 90-day game plan. Those 3 little videos, again, maybe another 30 minutes, that clumped together would be considered the fast start training. And you will learn that one of the most important things, one of the easiest ways to build your Zija business is to get off to a fast start, to create that story. So I really encourage you to take some time to go through that. Now, use this time, Saturday morning, kind of a hands-on, as you can tell, live training. I'll have to remember not everybody else gets up at 5 in the morning to be on camera. This live training is really a way for you to be in a small environment with people of your peers, and to get a little information, and then to use this time for question and answer. And so in a few minutes, I'm going to share with you what my, if you will, my topic of the day. And then I want to open it up to question and answer, because it's been my experience the most valuable part of a training isn't the training, okay, which maybe doesn't speak highly of me, but it's not really what I'm sharing with you, but rather taking that information and molding it into your specific situation, your unique circumstances, and to be able to get your specific questions answered. You'll see there is a chat box in your video, or in your window there. I'm going to go to that chat box here in a minute, and I'm going to be taking a look at it. And we'll do question and answers. I'll do the best I can to answer questions. I may call on some of our other team members that are part of the broadcast this morning and see if they will come over on camera and help with that. And so today I want to talk about the concept of self-employment mentality. Self-employment mentality. This was a concept that when I was first exposed to it, it made a lot of sense. I understood it. I got it, partially because I've never really been an employee, even though I've had, contrary to popular belief, I had jobs for many years. I worked for other people for many years, but I was never that guy that did well being an employee. I really did. I mean, I was, not well suited to be an employee, but very well suited to be independent, to be, a business owner, if you will, an independent contractor, because I always did a lot better focusing on what I felt I needed to do as opposed to what I was being told. One of my classic lines was, I was always worth at least 2 or 3 times what my employer paid me to do. I was always worth much more than that. That's a concept of self-employment mentality. The reason that we need to teach these kinds of things, simply, if you look at the world, 95% of the population works for the 5%. The 5% of business owners. Our entire educational system has been designed to create good workers, not good entrepreneurs, not good business owners, but good workers. We start out at a very young age teaching our children when to show up for school. That's children's work. What to do once you get there, the minute you get there, what to do, when to take your break, when to do your lunch, where to do lunch, when to complete your day, when to show up on time in the morning. We teach the skill sets of being an excellent employee. And the people that get that show up for school, show up for work on time, do exactly what they're supposed to do, the activities they were outlined, take only the breaks that are scheduled, work diligently through the end of the day, 5 p.m. or whatever that is, and continue to go back and do that again. People that master that become very successful in that environment. Okay, that's a fact of life. They become very successful in that environment. And oftentimes what we'll find is the things that make somebody very successful in that environment, for whatever reason, when they transition into their own business, a home-based business, or they buy a business or take over the business they're working for, oftentimes what made them really good will disappear when they become self-employed, when they become, the owner or what have you. And that's very characteristic. I mean, you might even have had some of those experiences, know businesses that, the little restaurant, the cook buys it from the owner that's retiring, and before you know it, in 6 months, it's out of business. There are different skill sets for self-employment than there is for being an employee. And it's really important to grasp that, and it's really important that we need to teach that, because let's be realistic, 95% of the people that we will talk to about being involved in our business are going to come from the employee ranks. I mean, it's just real simple. 95% of the people are employees. 95% of the people we're going to prospect, introduce, bring to our business will be employees. And so here's the difference. An employer, a business owner, does all of those things for the employee. The business owner determines what time the employee will show up for work. The business owner determines what activities the employee is going to be conducting, and at what times, and when they're going to take a break, and how long they're going to participate in that endeavor. And then when the employee goes home, the business owner does things that are completely foreign to an employee. The business owner starts out by evaluating the numbers, evaluating the performance, evaluating the day. There's a lot that happens when the shop closes. Okay, so tallying up all of the sales that took place, figuring out inventory, for instance. Do we sell, too many hammers? We got to order some hammers because it's going to take a week for them to get in, and we're already a third down. Business owner has to know the ebb and flow of his business. He has to monitor the numbers, evaluating the day's performance. Maybe it was a Wednesday, and for whatever reason, it was a very big crowd, and you didn't have enough employees on. Trying to make that a notation of that, making sure next Wednesday, if it's a big crowd, you're going to have more employees on. Then, when the owner has evaluated the performance of the day, they then switch to a second mode, which is to set up the following day. They need to determine what time to open the store, which employees will be on duty at that time, what activities are going to be specific and unique. Maybe this, Thursday's always been the day that you, sell bait for the fishermen for the weekend, whatever it is that's unique to your business. And then setting that up in advance the night before. Then when the store owner gets up, he already knows what time he has to be at the shop, which employees are going to be there, what are the activities for the day, what, we're going to have a special on, screwdrivers or whatever at the hardware store. They go through their day. They work the plan they had set up. At the end of the night, the employees go home. They're done. The business owner has to sit down, take inventory, do the day's receipts, see how the sales went, evaluate performance, and then set up the next day. This is the difference between an employee who has that all defined for them and a business owner. So one of the concepts that we like to teach is the concept of daily method of operation. And make no mistake about it, folks. Many of you have joined us in our endeavor here because, for some of you, it's because you've had, incredible experiences on our products. And for some people, something as simple as losing that 10 pounds you want, or, being able to get back in the gym, get a little more muscle mass, complexion clearing up, whatever. It doesn't have to be some kind of life-changing, miracle that you're receiving on the products to become one of our, consistent customers. People, something as simple as just feeling good. You may be here because you started as a customer and you're going to be a customer forever, and you like the concept of being able to create some additional income. Some of you came to us because that's what you were looking for. You were looking for an opportunity to create some consistent income, develop, maybe a full-time income from a part-time business. And, oh, by the way, you started using our products and you've gotten great product results, and now you get it. Now you understand why, some of us have been around in Zija for a number of years. I mean, there are thousands of people that use the product every single day. They've been using it for years. They're going to continue to use it, and that has created a significant residual income for me and my family. You're starting to get that. Now, regardless of how you got here, here's the first step. You have to know where you're going. Define some goals. And don't shortchange yourself, folks. If you're going to define some goals, don't set a goal that's mediocre. Set a goal that's worth achieving. One of the things I was taught very early on in this business, start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be? See, I didn't start in my first multi-level company with a goal of, seeing if I could make a little bit of money, and if it really started taking off good, then I was going to, really step up the pace and really do it more. When I started in my first multi-level, I set a goal that was, well beyond my reach, to create a six-figure income, to have the time freedom to, to pay for my son's educational resources he needed and to be with him. Now, I'm not going to tell you I got there in my first multi-level company. 2 years later, I had to transition to a second company to accomplish the goal. But the goal where I wanted to end up was well established. And I would encourage you to do that too, whatever it is that your goal is, because now you have a path. It's called a business plan if you like that concept of developing a business. People don't just, have an idea for a business and throw $500,000 at it and say, okay, let's do business. They have a formal business plan where they can project how long, what amount of investments to be necessary, how long is it going to take to get into profitability, so on. For us in network marketing, it's pretty simple. Set a goal, okay? Make it one that's worth achievable. Once you've set that goal, then the activities. What do we do? And this is all part of that half-hour Saturday morning training I mentioned. We share the product, we share our opportunity, we teach others to do the same. Being able to develop a system on how to invite people to look at your opportunity. Have a simple system. Then use that to develop your story. Then teach that to others. Teach others how to develop their story. These are all, this is the most complicated our process gets. But the real key, and you talk to anybody who has achieved high-level success in their own business, in particular in Zija, but any entrepreneurial business, you will find this common thread, a daily method of operation. And I've done some trainings on that. You'll see that on the YouTube channel. But if you will, the nickel version, get yourself into a daily habit of, what Jim Rohn calls celebrate or fix. And I'll just kind of go over that real quickly with you, then I'm going to open up for questions and answers. If every single night before you go to bed, you sit down and identify 5 or 6 things that will make a material difference in your business. And when I say identify, get note and paper, get pen and paper, write it down. 5 or 6 specific activities that will make a material difference, material positive difference in your business. Well, what would those activities be? It could be, sharing the product. Outline it around the 3 things we do. Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same. So share the product. Maybe introduce 1 or 2 people to the product. Share the opportunity. Okay, prospect 1 or 2 people for the business. What else do we do? Teach others the same. Well, that might be follow-up. Do a get-going meeting with a brand new distributor. Might be 2 or 3 levels down, but there's people are too new between you and that new distributor. You have to be the one to help them get their, get going. What's a get-going meeting? Real simple. Establish goals, identify, the goal, the activities that are going to be necessary to create to obtain that goal, and make those first contacts with them. Get them into action. Okay. The first contact's the hardest contact. Second one is the second hardest contact. The 100th contact is easy peasy. Got to get to the 100th contact. So you set up a follow-up on one of your customers from the day before, prospects from the day before. Include personal development in that. That 5 or 6 activities that you're going to do tomorrow that will affect your business, include personal development there. 30 minutes. Maybe you're reading Don Falo's book, The 10 Paper Napkin Presentations, or listening to Jim Rohn do, how to build your network marketing distributorship. Whatever it is, reading your book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, or As a Man Thinketh. By the way, As a Man Thinketh, that would be one of the very first books I would read. So you got 5 or 6 activities. I'm going to call Mary Lou about the product. I'm going to talk to Bob about the product when I'm in the gym, and personal activity, maybe an event. Maybe you're going to be part of a Saturday morning training webinar, or maybe the health talks with Pat Anderson on Wednesday night. 5 or 6 things that you will do tomorrow that will make a positive material impact on your business, a real impact. Now, once you've written those 5 or 6 things down, second step, schedule them, calendar them, put them on your calendar. I'm going to call Mary on the way to work because she'll be on the way to work and we can talk in the car. I'm going to call Bob, or I'm going to talk to Bob, in the gym. I'm going to follow up on, Bill, after dinner, during my lunch break, whatever. Schedule the particular events. I'm going to take 30 minutes of reading. I'm going to get up a half hour early this morning or tomorrow morning and read personal development, skill sets development for 30 minutes. I'm going to be on, the David Moses Facebook Live MIT call Monday night. I'm going to be there. You do that, and you're going to find that you can get an awful lot of work done in 30, 60, 90 minutes a day. Now, once you have that, the list written down and then calendared, scheduled, you go to bed, sleep, wake up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, you already have your day planned. You got to be in the office, your day job, your regular job, at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know that you got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning because you need that 30 minutes to listen to the tape, read the book, what have you. At 7:30, as you're driving to work, you're going to call Mary Lou. At your 10 o'clock break, you're going to be giving Bob a shout. You're going to, see Frank in the gym at noon, whatever. You already know. You do your daily method of operation, commit to those things. At the end of the day, you sit down and you add one more thing to this process, last thing before bed process. You evaluate your performance, evaluate your numbers. Did you make all the contacts? Did you spend the time in the personal development reading? Were you part of that, online presentation that you committed to being part of? One of 2 things is going to happen. Either 1, you completed all your activities, okay, in which case you need to celebrate. That's why Jim called it celebrate or fix, right? The celebration should be something that is physical and tangible as a celebration to you, okay? Some kind of physicality, it's got to be meaningful to you. Example, if you completed your activities, you might celebrate with a bowl of ice cream, okay? Because you got the physical activity of eating. Who doesn't like ice cream, right? I guess the same person doesn't like kittens and puppies, right? Everybody likes ice cream. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that as your every single day celebration. That may not make you look like the natural health revolution is part of you, but that's the concept. Okay, each day that I complete my assigned activities, I celebrate. I do the dance. I jump up and go, "Oh yeah, I'm cool. I did it." Physical, meaningful to me is a celebration, a form of celebration. So you need to celebrate, or if you evaluate your performance and you did not complete the things that you had signed yourself to, you have to fix it. Celebrate or fix. Now, the fix part's simple. Okay? It's always going to fall into one of two categories. Number one, you overestimated your capacity to accomplish within the time that you allotted. So maybe you allotted 30 minutes in the morning on the way to work to make 14 phone calls. Well, if you didn't accomplish that, here's the reason why. You overestimated your capacity to accomplish within the time that you allotted. If you had allotted an hour and a half or 2 hours, you might have been able to complete that number of calls. You overestimated how much you could do. That's one reason you might not have been able to follow your schedule. Here's the second reason. You didn't follow your schedule. Okay, you were going to, make 2 phone calls during your lunch break, and the guys came by your office, said, "Hey, come out, let's go do a burger, have lunch. Ain't talked to you in a long time. You never get to hang out with us anymore." Blah 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 blah. And instead of getting away from your desk, making those 2 phone calls you committed to making during your lunch break, you went ahead and blew it off, and you went out and had lunch with your buddies because you hadn't seen them in such a long time and you deserve to hang out with your buddies or whatever. If you cannot celebrate, then you have to fix. The fix is simple. Either you overestimate your capacity to accomplish during the time you allotted, or you failed to follow your schedule. That's it. That's the only 2 reasons you're not going to be able to accomplish it. Now, once you've celebrated or fixed, go back to step 1, 5 or 6 things written down that'll make a difference tomorrow in your business. Then calendar them. Then go to sleep. Get up the next morning. Follow your game plan. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Folks, what I'm sharing with you is the difference between people that start a multi-level venture. They do not understand the concepts of self-employment mentality. They've not set meaningful goals that would cause them to stretch. They've eliminated, the personal development component because for whatever reason they didn't buy my story that 80% of success is who you become, only 20% of success is what we do. Our business is complete with many, many people who never take this as serious as a business. And that's okay. They don't have to. All right. If they share our product with people and they get a couple people on the product, then good for them. We've spread the Zija message. However, the difference between, the 80%ers that try to do a little and make a little money and the 20%ers that really don't do much more, but they do it correctly and they end up making a full-time income or a financial independence income or a life-changing income of abundance is simply these few little things. And it all comes down to self-employment mentality. Are you doing the work that you would pay yourself $10,000 a month to do? Now, it ain't going to happen immediately, but when you get to a point in time where 10,000 a month, it's more like 10,000 a week, you'll understand that how you got there. Little tiny steps of this simple stuff, following basic fundamentals of building a network marketing business. So I wanted to share with you that this morning, that if you've never been a business owner, it's very easy to become a successful business owner if you simply do what the successful people do. And imagine where you will be 30 days from now, 90 days from now, a year from now, if you simply committed, 30, 60, 90 minutes a day around your life, around the scheduled work and family, doing these simple things. What could the potential be for your Zija business? For my remaining time here, and looks like I've got about 15 minutes before I'm going to have to drop off. We'll do question and answer. So I'm going to go back up to the beginning. Good morning. Well, thank you, Mary. Mary wished me a happy birthday. Yesterday was quite the celebration. It was the 25th annual celebration of my 39th birthday, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have made it to 25. You can't hear me? I'm hoping that you did. Okay, Candace, good morning, good morning. Love the office. Nobody else said they can't hear me, so I'm hoping everybody could hear me. Thank you, Candace. Okay, Kevin. I'm just reading through this stuff real quick. South Texas, good to see you. Galaxy J3 Prime. Danielle, I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you so much. Okay, no questions? Oh, AJ, let's see here. Okay, I've got a question. Can you please explain why consistency is so critical? That's an excellent question, AJ. And what I've been sharing with you is it's just a simple system, okay? And one of the things I've learned, you can have a very complicated system that cannot be duplicated by the masses. Or you could choose to do what I do. I have a real simple system, and it can be duplicated by the masses. Now, what's true is the more simple the system is, the more likely it is to be duplicated. We know that people will always add their own little touch. People will always complicate things. So no matter what, this concept of duplication, there is no perfect world. I can tell you right now, if you keep it real bare bones simple, your first level will get it. The first level will find one or two things that they like and they'll add it in. And the second level is going to have your basic system with a little finer nuance. Once you get 3 or 4 or 5 levels deep, or maybe 6 levels deep, the duplication process breaks down. The good news is you're probably, if your numbers are typical, you're going to be working with your frontline people, and then there'll be somebody 2, 3, 4 levels down that's going to be working with you personally, because they're part of the 20%ers. They're the ones that want the 80% of what's available. So you'll typically be working, with different leaders at different levels, and so you can kind of maintain that consistency of the message. Now, what you're talking about, though, AJ, is consistency of activity. And folks, I don't know if I could give a better example of this. If you wanted to, work out, develop your body, train for a marathon, whatever it happens to be. If you show up in the gym once and work out for 8 hours and don't show up again for a week or a month, how much development are you going to receive? Okay, not. If you show up at the gym your very first day and work out for 8 hours, you probably never go back to the gym. Okay, you will have, hurt something, right? What creates success? Consistent daily method of operation, correct activities exercised on a daily basis for a prolonged period of time. Going to the gym, 3 days a week, every single week, without fail, you are going to see progress over a prolonged period of time. our business is really much, much more about a lot of average people coming together to do something that is quite extraordinary, as opposed to a handful of very special people doing a lot. A lot of people doing a little is how you build a successful network marketing business. If your business is based on just a couple of people that can do something spectacular, it's built on a false foundation. It is destined to crumble. And that's a topic for another conversation. But for each of us, and any of you have accomplished anything, and I'm talking about athletic endeavors because it seems to be the kind of thing most people can get. You know, how do you build muscle mass? You work out a little bit every day, not lift a ton of weights once a month. You're never going to get strong that way. Same thing with our business. I tell people it is better for you to commit an hour a day to your business than it is to commit, 8 or 10 hours on Saturday. And it seems like it should be actually better to commit 8 or 10 hours on Saturday because there's more hours. And all I can tell you is it doesn't work that way. Okay. 1 hour a day, every day, will give you more productivity, more progress, more advancement than, 8 or 10 hours on Saturday. And I guess you're just going to have to buy my story on that. I don't know if that answered your question, AJ, and any of the folks, I'm not saying, I was about to say leaders, but any of you that have, a comment you'd like to make or something like that, you have the ability to raise your hand. Let's see here. I'm going down there. I can hear you. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Michael, loud and clear. Lindbergh, watching the live song. Can you explain the 80-20 rule again? All right, very good. Actually, Lindbergh and his wife, Erin, are just getting started with us, and we're going to be speaking here in a little bit, I believe. I talked with Patty about that. 80-20 rule. Folks, it's called the Pareto principle, and I may be saying that wrong. Somebody correct me if I am. It's something that's been around for a long time. It's not unique to our business. It's just life. It's people. It's just kind of like, truism. Here's the way it goes. 80% of the productivity will be produced by 20% of the people. Okay, the 80-20 rule. You'll always find that 80%, the masses, produce, maybe 20% of the productivity. Whereas the 20%ers, that top 20%, they're going to always produce 80% of the productivity. Now, here's a great example. In terms of income, 80-20 rule. In America, in the United States, I don't know if this applies to Canada, if the numbers are exact, but the concept applies exact. In the United States, 80% of the population lives off of less than $60,000 a year. 20% of the population lives off of 60,000 or more. Okay, a lot of people will say, well, that's not fair, or that's because the rich are greedy or whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with any of that. It's just the way it is, the way life is. It's always going to be like that. Okay, it always has been like that. It will always be like that. For those of you that are in the workforce, okay, this. There's 20% of the population that will always produce the most, and 80% who won't. In Egypt, okay, same kind of thing. 80%, I'll give you an example, 80% of my volume every single cycle comes from people that simply use the product. That's it. They just use the product. That's all they do. 20% of my organization, they're people that are involved in the business. Okay, they're the ones that are sharing the product, sharing the opportunity, teaching others to do the same. Within that top 20%, there's another 80-20 rule. The top 20% of that top 20%. They're the super achievers, if you will, the top 4 or 5%. Okay, they're the super achievers. They're the ones that are in the top income earning. And if you will, again, just kind of like real life, 80% of the volume is created by people that just consume the product. So, you know, you look at my organization, there's, you know, 8,000 people that consume the product, 2,000 are involved in the business. But the reality is 80% of that 2,000, they're very casual. They get a customer once in a while. They get a distributor maybe once in a while. It's a fun thing they do, but they don't work it like a business. They're not serious about it to the extent that they are actually learning how to do what we do at a professional level. That top 20% of the top 20%, they're the, you know, golds, platinums, emeralds, diamonds, double diamonds, black diamonds, diamond elites, the higher income earning distributors. And when I hear people say stuff like, you know, oh, network marketing, only the people at the top make the big money in that deal. Yeah, right. Only the people who progress to the top make the big money, just like real life. In America, 80% of the people live off of $60,000 a year or less. The top 20% make 60,000 or above, but the top 20% of the top 20%, the top 4 or 5%, they earn 6 figures, just like real life. If you're earning $100,000 a year or more in the United States, you're in the top, you know, 4 or 5, percent of income earners. If you're earning $250,000, you're in the top 2% of income earners. And if you earn $400,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. Multi-level ZJ is just like real life, because the 80-20 rule, that Pareto principle, it's alive and well because it's based on human nature. Hope that helped, Lindbergh. Look forward to talking with you soon. Ernest says, I look good for my 25th celebration. Yeah. AJ, how valuable is banked volume? Wow. I don't know if I want to really take that one on right now. Thank you. Oh, here's a good one from Galaxy J3 Prime. What is your real name? Let's see. How do you handle the no's? Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. People are going to say no to you. People are going to say, no, I'm not interested in your product. Or they're going to use your product and they're going to say, no, I'm not interested in buying it again. Or you'll talk to them about the business, say, no, I'm not interested in getting in your business. Or they'll get in your business and they won't do much, and then they'll say, I'm not interested in staying in your business. That's life, okay? How do you handle the no's? In the beginning, they were terrible, okay? People I thought would be the most likely to want to buy my product didn't. People I thought would be the most likely to join my business didn't. What I learned very quickly was the no had nothing to do with me, okay? It had to do with them. And I think it's really important to understand what it is that we're offering here. If you open up a business, you spend $500,000 opening up this nice restaurant over on a corner, you have the best, steak sandwiches, whatever, and you invited your friend to come over and take a look at your new business, sit down and have, try your restaurant, and they said no, would it bother you? I don't know, maybe it would, okay? What bothers me is that in that environment, most people say, oh, sure, I'll come over and check out your new business. Whereas those same people don't want to check out your new, multi-level business. That bothers me more. But everybody has a way to deal with it. I mean, I just learned that if I was going to get a yes, I had to get the no's. I was very fortunate in the beginning that I was taught the no does not reflect on me personally. It's a reflection of them. They are not interested in improving their health, even though they say so. They are not interested in improving their financial situation, even though they say so. You can't say no to something that you haven't investigated. If they're not willing to investigate it, they weren't the people I was looking for. I have learned to accept that I'm going to get many, many more no's than I'm going to get yeses. Probably more important than how I handle it is for you to understand your brand new distributor is going to get no's. And so let them know in advance, not everybody is going to want their product or their opportunity and be there for them when they get that first no, so that they understand it's part of the process, okay? Just like being a little sore after, leg day in the gym is just part of the process. It's just part of the process. It's what we do to get what we want. And I'll share this with you, folks. All the people that said no to me in Zija wish they were at my island right now. All the people that said no to me when I introduced them to Zija wish they could drive my car, wish they could fly first class, wish they could rent the most expensive vehicle in the lot and be here. And I wish I had, if I'd already had it queued up, and show you the beach I was at yesterday. Nobody else. A beach that, looks like they took the picture postcard for the island. I was the only guy out there. Everybody wishes they had that, including all the people who said no to me. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted here. I love how you put it one time, you don't. Danielle, you are great. You don't become a professional teacher in 2 months. It took time and effort to learn the trade. So before a professionalist trade, you need to have big drive and burning desire to succeed. There you go. You did. Thank you. Happy birthday. Lorenzo Garcia. Oh, Galaxy J3 Prime. Lorenzo Garcia just hit Builder 1000. Well, you get a woo-hoo. Builder 1000. Good for you, Lorenzo. First time Zoom, first time user. Saturday, anything? Oh, yeah, baby. Lorenzo, welcome to you. You're the reason that not just me, so many other people, other leaders, if you're you probably from Tommy's team, you got great leaders. There's so many leaders out there that are doing something like this. They're providing for their team, providing support. Honestly, we don't need to do this, okay? I mean, I know Tommy, I don't know what you know about my story, we could be done, all right? We don't, I don't want to get too carried away with that. Yeah, we're already doing really, really good. Why do we do this kind of stuff? Why am I doing this kind of stuff today? It's for you, Lorenzo. For that brand new person, new guy, that saw something, a potential to maybe be able to go beyond what you thought you could. The ability to create, a level of financial security or maybe even financial prosperity that you never really thought was possible before for yourself, for your family, what have you. And to hopefully give you just a little bit of a leg up. The advantage of some of the experiences we had to go through ourselves, we had to figure the deal out to, give you, a little bit of a better roadmap than we had. That's why we do this, and I'm excited for you. Builder 1000 is a significant accomplishment. On to bronze. And Lorenzo, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to assist if I can help at all. Folks, I think I covered everything but one question on bank volume. And we'll have to leave that for another one. Or AJ, call me directly if you want. Okay, bank volume is it's money in the bank. That's why they call it that. All right, so I'm gonna have to shut down. I've made one more commitment. I'm gonna be talking to a couple of you a little bit later on here. Hope this was helpful, folks. I will admit that that I did not have my normal outline that I was hoping for, because I celebrated the 25th anniversary of my 39th birthday yesterday. So you guys got to cut me a little slack, but I hope this helped today. And it's always been fun to be with you. So we'll shut it down for now. Put it on your calendar. Monday, Millionaires in Training with David Moses, Facebook Live. Tuesday, the business presentation, home business presentation, virtual with Pat Anderson. Health Talks with Pat on Wednesday. Thursday, Biz Talks. Who's handling Biz Talks on Thursday? It's going to be a surprise. Okay, because I don't remember. That's why it's going to be a surprise. I don't remember who it is, but Biz Talks on Thursday, Saturday morning new distributor training on Saturday. Folks, if you haven't done so, feel free to sign up for my newsletter so you can keep in touch with me. Go to my website, fredholmes.com, click on contact, scroll down to the bottom of the page. You can be on the newsletter, get the email communications, and geez, I think I got it all. All right. Aloha. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.